wait once it actually like services. Okay, so now it's starting to go. So just wait a few seconds here, and then people should actually be coming in.
Welcome, Lou Perez.
Yeah, welcome, Lou. We got, I think some people are actually already waiting here. It looks like, so that's cool.
Yeah, we have a bar at the bottom. Tells you what's going on. Interview with Lou Perez, former writer, producer of We the Internet TV, and now free man.
Yes.
So, that's a little
I'm a free man, baby.
You're free.
He's free. He doesn't work for free, but he's free.
Your mind, your body, your job, your soul. So that's great.
Okay, here we go. Now it's starting to go. Hello. Hey, what's up, Daniel? What's up, Jay?
Everyone.
Hello, Polly. Hello, Greg. Hello, Rusty. All right, now we're getting lots of people starting to come in. Okay, good. Glad to know people are here and well. So it looks like we are fully loaded. So hello, Lou. Welcome on our show. And if you would, could you just give us a little bit of background about yourself here for the audience, for anybody who may not have seen, and it's, odds are it's, most people have probably seen your stuff, but again, there's maybe one person who just needs to hear it. So give us a little background on yourself, your work, and your vision, your purpose.
My vision and my purpose. Wow. Well, right now I'm in Brooklyn. Can you guys hear sirens happening right now?
Yeah. That's cool. That's like a movie.
They're already coming to arrest you.
Yeah. So before they drag me away, So I'm a writer, comedian, a producer, and for the past 5 years or so, I was producing content for We the Internet TV, which is like a political and cultural satire channel on YouTube, Facebook. And so I was making a lot of sketch comedy, and now I'm producing my own podcast, the Lou Perez podcast, not to be confused with any others. And and so right now I'm independent and looking to work. So if anybody has something that needs to be painted or garbage hauled out or kids being taken care of, let me know. I could manny.
Wow. Okay.
That's
with
true.
Comedy too, with humor. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole time. Yeah. I'm on the whole time. Yeah.
Perfect. So actually that reminds me, could you tell us a little bit about how you got to the trauma that led to becoming a comedian? Because it's just like, therapists, right? There's trauma that leads to them becoming therapists, and comedians are the same thing. So it's really important to get some context to what led to that.
Yeah, well, let's see. I'm trying to pin down the most traumatic experience, and it might be something that I've just put so far back in the recesses of my mind that it just comes out, in facial tics and stuff like that. But I remember, well, for one, I'm 38. I'm 38 years old, so I was born in '82. So when I was growing up, even as a kid, some of the biggest comedians at the time were Eddie Murphy, Andrew Dice Clay, Richard Pryor, George Carlin. And as a kid, me and my younger brothers used to repeat Andrew Dice Clay jokes, like the dirty nursery rhymes. And we would notice that people would laugh at it. For one, they would laugh at it because Andrew Dice Clay was very, big and popular at the time. And then also there's just a spectacle of watching these little shits, like these little kids spouting horrific, one-liners, using language that, we don't know what it was. We were just parroting that. So I think some of the earliest jokes I remember telling were sort of what I thought were dirty jokes, but like a kid telling dirty jokes. Now I don't remember the specifics of them, but this might be this is a real deep cut on the Lou Perez joke album train. That doesn't make any sense what I just said. But I remember telling one joke to a group of older kids. I think I was probably like 6 years old, and the punchline was fill her up. That was a punchline.
Okay.
That got me through. I guess that got me through some days as a kid. So
wow.
Already starting off weird. You had to bring up the trauma.
Oh, I can relate.
Well, no,
that's awesome.
Important.
No, that's like where we relate the most, is it not? Like, why are we traumatized enough to go public and put ourselves out there?
Well,
Okay,
right.
there's other reasons.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean? It's like you tell
I
jokes to, often, right, get, I guess, people's laughs or validation or attention, things like that. And it's not necessarily a bad way. It's also social commentary on things. And to me, it's very powerful because it also exposes, some uncomfortabilities and of things people have. So, I mean,
like it's therapeutic at the same time.
Right. It's like a way to overcome that anxiety.
Yeah.
Well,
Therapeutic.
Also, that I've been thinking about this a lot, and there's something where it's just sort of innate in me, the way that I see the world and sort of make jokes about it. Where even if there was a time when I wasn't doing comedy, but I was still making jokes and doing that sort of thing. Where it's sort of like, in a way, I can't really help myself to have the thoughts that I have. I've just chosen a profession where I'm actually taking those thoughts and putting them out into the world. Where there are a lot of people out there who are hilarious, who are like, I don't want to go the professional route. I'll just, lead another kind of life.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I really admire that decision.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, where do you go from there, right? You're like, okay, I have all these really funny things. I mean, either you can tell them at work and get in trouble, or monetize it. So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's a good way to get that release.
Yeah. Right. Speaking as a wage corporate slave, so I definitely admire that. Just like that courage to really pursue what you like so enjoy doing, and to take on that risk. It's being an entrepreneur. That is what it is. But you are your company. If you're, if you're going to be a comedian or an actor or singer or something, like it's you that you're marketing and you're working on in completion. And it technically is the case at a corporate job too, or some 9-to-5. But it's different because you're trying to obtain someone else's like dream, and you're like putting in the labor to obtain that. Whereas when you're doing your own thing it is your dream, and your labor is going directly towards that.
Yeah, and I think too, there are so many people out there who just don't take risks. Like they're so risk averse and also afraid of failure.
Yeah.
And with doing comedy, like I had to explain this to somebody who couldn't understand why I was tweeting out like so many different jokes, like so many, and some of the jokes were blue, some of them were, offensive, others, of course, others are better than other ones, but they couldn't understand it. They were like, why are you doing that? Like you've got like 3 likes on that. What's the point? What is that? How does that even help you? And I had to explain to them, like, I've been doing comedy for almost 20 years. And for 20 years, it's been about putting stuff out there that I don't know if it's going to land or not. And trying, and, hopefully getting to a place where more stuff is landing than is not landing. But, to this day, I'm still, sort of, taking those risks, I guess. And in a way, like I said before, it's just like innate. Like if I wasn't doing this, I don't feel like I would be truly who I am, if you will. So I'm out of here.
That's really good.
So when it came to making that jump and that leap, what motivated you, or what was that kind of defining moment where you said, okay, yeah, I'm gonna make this a thing for myself. I'm gonna really do this.
I think a big part of it was actually seeing audiences laugh. I think that was a big thing. So many times people who try comedy, they give it up because, for one, they can't get over bombing, right? And that's something that that happens. They can't get over that, and then sometimes they never are getting the validation from the audience, right? And rather than try to stick it out and see what's not working and what is working. They're like, you know what, screw this. There are much better things I could be doing, 4 or 5 nights a week of my life than coming up here and just punishing myself. So it was a mix of seeing, of actually entertaining people. That was really great to see. And, pretty much like the whole way through, I've had a really great comedy partner named Greg Burke. And we still have a duo, Greg and Lou. And whether it's performing live or making sketch comedy together, we were always, sort of inspiring each other and also motivating each other. And there were many times where if I didn't have my partner, Greg, I probably would have thrown in the towel. But,
wow.
So, working together and having that, like you guys, you guys are a couple. You motivate each other and all that. You keep going.
Big time.
Put that in my head. Oh, that's sweet. I now want to check out like Greg and Lou stuff. That's so cool. This is my first time hearing it. That's really cool to hear that.
With Greg, what is it like working with him? Like, how do you come together and kind of brainstorm through your sketches and work on that?
Physically?
So Greg's been living in LA now for I think like over 6 years or something like that. So obviously when we're on the same coast, it's a lot easier. But thankfully we're able to do stuff like this. Whether now it's Zoom or Skype or that sort of thing. But definitely being able to be in the same room with each other and basically forced to just work on an idea is the best way to go about it. And one thing I'd say about Greg, you have people who you throw an idea out and they're very quick to shut it down. And he's not that kind of person. He's the kind of person where it's like, okay, that's weird. That's really weird. But how do we make sense of it? Or if we're going to go that route, what's the next move? And I think that's also an important thing to have that open-mindedness and not be afraid of where a germ of an idea might take you.
Wow.
Do you find yourself being the person who's like doing the insemination of ideas and him kind of refining, or is it like both of you kind of work it the same way? So it's like comedic bukkake in a way, right?
And then there's a cleanup that needs to happen,
right? Cleanup though.
I'm
just saying, based on your feed, I mean, my God, you're like pumping every second. I'm like, does he have a writer or something, or like a couple Jewish producers behind him or something? Because you're writing all the time. So I'm like, what's going on? So it's all in there, right?
Yeah, I'm just getting it out.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's not a masturbatory problem, because
I just have to say,
like,
when masturbation does become a problem, that's when the ideas start dripping out of the pipe instead of flowing out.
Wow, double entendres.
Wow, you can tell he's from New York. This is just
really
absolutely.
Oh,
I'm originally actually from New York myself, so I relate a lot to you vicariously. So Long Island though.
Oh, where in Long Island?
Originally from Nassau County. We can keep going more narrow.
Yeah. I went to high school in Manhasset.
Okay.
Whoa.
Okay. All right. Baldwin.
Okay. I played ice hockey out in what's past Baldwin? Merrick.
Okay. Yeah, I know Merrick. Yeah.
Wow. Was he on that day in December 1942? I'm just kidding. That's a little too long.
No, yeah, that was way too far in the past.
1989.
Yeah. We used to play stickball or something. I swear. But
stoop ball. We used to just take a ball and throw it at a stoop. That's how we do it.
Like a Mexican accent back then.
Oh my goodness! I just don't know how you survive there right now with everything going on. Because I mean, one of the worst places right now, especially if you're going to be doing comedy and stuff like that. My sister, she's a celebrity makeup artist, and they were shut down on production for months. So what was that like for you? Because I mean, obviously, it must have been tough out there.
Yeah, no, it was definitely tough. Although the universe decided to schedule this pandemic at the same time my wife gave birth to our child, so we were going to be quarantined for a little while. So I think it worked out. In some respects for us, but yeah, I mean, I'm feeding to get up and perform again live. There are shows going on. A lot of people doing like outdoor shows, rooftops. There are like shows in parks and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But man, when the weather gets bad, I don't know what's going to happen with those things. Yeah.
Right.
Maybe we just gotta go to a free state. And we all like you bring that guy Greg, and then like we all make a skit. Like
The
several.
bukkake. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, we orchestrate like. I'm sorry, did I say Greg and Lou? Yeah.
No, you said everything right.
Yeah, you said everything right.
I'm just so starstruck. Okay. Do you get that? You get.
Anytime that I've been recognized,
Mm-hmm.
I am always like more surprised that the person recognized me, and I'm like, oh my god, how do you know? Like, do you love me? Because because I love you now.
That explains the eyes you made. You just repeated it again. When we first met you, that was so cool.
Right. When you're on your phone and you're of course doing the brainstorming thing,
your
just,
red,
out there tweeting.
Your red nice suit.
Yeah, you're that nice little
like,
red
hey,
overall.
I'm a comedian. And I'm like, whoa, that's a comedian.
Yeah, there's a comedian in here.
as if all comedians wear a nice red suit.
No.
It
was like I didn't know. So it was really cool. That was the first time I heard about you, but he knew. So Jack was like really all about it.
Oh yeah, I was like, oh, this is exciting.
That was a fun show to perform.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was the LP convention, right? In Florida, I believe.
Yep. Yeah. The Florida convention specifically. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah. Do you remember what you said there?
I think I was supposed to do just like 20 minutes to like a half hour, and then I did like 50 minutes of stand up. Yeah.
Cool.
and of course, there's no footage of it that I know of. So,
really? Oh my goodness.
So
that was one of those times. It was one of those times I was good. I keep complaining that there's not enough evidence of me being good at stand-up comedy out there.
Yeah.
Well, like we were talking about before, there's the video of you at what was it?
FeeCon.
FeeCon, yeah. Do you remember that one, 2017?
That's a gem.
I do. Yeah.
People should watch it. You definitely got to go tune in and watch that set. It's a good one.
He analyzed and he's like, oh, he changed his joke. He like changed the scope, you know.
Oh yeah, I liked watching you modify
really
yourself to the audience
at first, and then it expanded.
Right, you're like, okay, libertarian jokes, and then you like switch. You're like, okay, you're gonna do libertarian thing. Okay,
a little
more mainstream. Okay, back to libertarian. More mainstream. Okay, back to libertarian. Like you could see the flow of like, okay, let me test this out. All right, pull back. Like,
yeah, the laughs got quiet.
You're very controlled. It was very good. It was an art.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, some of those gigs are. I love performing because it's always like a packed, room, which is great. But sometimes you're not really sure what the audience is expecting because it's
right.
It's sort of these situations where I'll often go up after. Here's a debate about ending the Fed, and then here's somebody who's going to tell you, all about cryptocurrency. And then now you have a guy come up and I start doing dick jokes. And it's like, people are like, wait, what is this? He's right. What's going on?
Right.
That's why you have to end the Fed's dick. And then that's really nailing it right there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Very cool. But yeah, it's something that I think is kind of interesting to do is getting libertarians to laugh because again, there's many with autism and that's hard to reach. And so, some jokes you got to be more literal. Somebody's like, I'm gonna need another drink of protein for this one. Okay,
let's not look out for Asian wife.
Yeah,
autistic.
And it's like it's one of those things where the comedy could be really funny or it could sound really cringy depending on how you frame it. And it takes some very specialized skill, but you have that skill.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. I did an event for Larry Sharpe, who was running for governor a couple of years ago, governor for New York. And it was a really great show. Dave Smith headlined. And Dave Smith had a moment where he told a joke, and then an audience member started talking to him as if Dave had addressed the joke directly to the audience member, as if he was having a debate. Wow. And the audience member just like had no, it was almost like everybody else in the room had been removed, and it was just Dave and this audience member. And Dave was like, this was the most libertarian thing that could happen. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, stereotypically libertarian. There are non-autists.
Yes. And they're comedians.
Oh my gosh.
I love them all.
That's so true. Wow.
But yeah, so it's something that, it takes a lot of work to actually do. I think a lot of people don't appreciate just how much goes into putting together these sketches and doing the comedy. Think, oh, well, this guy, he probably just like smokes a joint and has a beer and then, funny stuff comes out. But like, could you tell us a bit more about what it takes on your end to really refine your comedy sets? Like, what does it take to actually put together a good set that you think is worthy of an audience?
Well, with I think the turnaround is a lot quicker with sketch comedy. For some reason, banging out like a 5-page script is a lot easier than putting together even like say 5 minutes of stand up. Right. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that when you're doing stand up, you're up there alone. There aren't any bells. No actors, no bells and whistles unless that's part of your act. And I guess you could use bells and whistles. But with the sketch comedy, it's a big collaborative process. Even like the small the smallest production crew you could put together, you're still dealing with a lot of moving parts, and a lot of stuff lives or dies in the edit. There have been a lot of times where jokes, like I thought, killed on paper, and I thought were really well performed, and then we get to the edit, it's just not working. So things have to go, which could be similar to in a way to stand up too. If a bit is just not working, like you can't just force that bit onto people. It's got to be voluntary.
Yes.
Wow,
voluntary laughter.
Voluntary.
Although you could bring a gun to your next stand up and be like, all right, so this is just in case that if you don't laugh, I'm willing to violate the NAP just for this one bit.
Just make sure it's not a real one. And then...
Well, it's tough performing for libertarians because most of the time, like, they are armed. It's like just hit a.
They're like, make me
about that back. I don't know why they have that.
This next one better be funny.
Ooh, you got a fan. Someone said, Lou.
That's a contract violation.
2 fires.
Thank you, Aaron. Aaron Abel. Thank you.
So right now, what would you say would be a dream venue for you to do right now? Like if you could be like, okay, I could perform next week. Where would you want to be? What would you want to do?
I will perform next. Wow.
My house, New Year's.
Besides,
I would want to be like in a I would say a small, like, intimate setting. Say like 200 people packed in to a room, low ceilings. The stage doesn't have to be very high, like maybe like a foot or something like that off the ground. And dim the lights and let's roll. So
wow.
Yeah.
My house on New Year's.
So cool. Your definition of intimate definitely gave me a different idea. I was like imagining a bedroom almost, and then all of a sudden there's 200 people in there. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, it's a bedroom. We're all packed in to that bedroom.
You're on the bed.
I'm gonna do a small intimacy.
It's only you.
Then suddenly turn the light. It's like, oh,
speak
okay.
easy. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Okay. So you're in other words, you're flexible. That's great because I mean,
Tom Wood's house.
That would be amazing, right?
He just had an event actually during like this past 2
I would
months,
definitely go.
Or past month, and it was at his house, and I just heard about it because he was talking to Gene Epstein on a podcast. And yeah, he just really enthused about how he had just people in person. He's like, sane fellow people. Like, And yeah, so he did that, and that was in Florida. So
nice. I'm a big fan of Tom Woods. I really like his program. I like that he's all about setting fire to the index card of allowable opinion.
wow, I see that now.
The amount of pollution he's put in the atmosphere from the number of cards he has burned is inordinate.
Oh,
And there's so much ash. It's like,
So much.
what are you doing with that ash? And I'm actually gonna have Gene Epstein on as a guest on the Lou Perez podcast. So love Gene as well.
Amazing.
Yeah, he's great.
He's a part of Libertarian Guys with Asian Wives, so that is.
Can I join on mute?
Sure.
By the way, you have to tell him because he is a little bit older. He joined our group, the Libertarian Guys for Asian Wives group, which is real. It exists.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a skit that just came out today. It's really great. But I forgive him.
Yeah.
He needs to actually join in the group. He's still posting on the outside to the page. Like they
That's
don't
so great.
realize he actually joined the group on Facebook.
He's a
So just give him that nudge. Be like, oh, by the way, Gene, you just got to hit join first on the group. You can't just post to the page.
That information is going to sound so weird coming from me. It's like, hey, Gene, I know you have an Asian wife, and I hear that there's this group, and they need you to go inside the group to post things.
Believe it or not, he will be far more receptive than you may imagine.
Wow.
And even if it doesn't work out, it will probably be good for a comedy.
Wait.
How many people are in this group? How many people are in this group?
In the actual group, I mean, I'm very selective. It's about 300 real Libertarian guys with Asian wives. And you're like, oh my God. It's real. It's a phenomenon. We're here, you could be next. I don't know.
Your wife Michelle's Asian because
she's trans Asian, maybe. But basically, I did it as kind of like a joke thing at first, and then it became a real thing because it is actually such a big phenomenon, and it just blew up. So here I am, and it's broadcasting right now there. So
Asian is such a big, wide umbrella. So are there, is there a particular, because I believe Gene's wife is Japanese.
Right.
Is there, a particular, attraction, like libertarians only like Japanese women, or have you done the research on that?
It's across the board. We got ladies across. I mean, everywhere. We got Korean. We got Hong Kongers, Chinese.
Yeah, it's
Vietnamese,
mostly just
Filipino.
I think so. There's a connection of jokes, libertarian jokes and stereotypes there, which you can get on my page too. But that's what and self-knowledge jokes, I guess. But and dysfunction, But I forgot what I was.
The first girl I ever kissed. She was a Korean girl, Korean American.
Really?
So, sixth grade.
Oh, I remember.
But I wasn't a libertarian though at the time. So
true.
I'm bucking the trend. Sorry, guys.
Yes.
If you had held on for long enough, you could have eventually collided and then become.
I just realized I said my page was where you just get liberty jokes and self-knowledge jokes, but actually no, you also get Asian jokes. But it's mostly just on Chinese and Vietnamese because that's what I am. But then you have Legal, and now you get to do Indian stereotypical jokes or Japanese. I mean, the focus is
Do you ever feel like you guys are just together just so he can do Asian jokes and just feel like he's allowed to do it? It's like that Seinfeld episode. He became Jewish just for the jokes.
Exactly. Well, I mean, now that you just exposed us, we're gonna have to wrap up shop and close the accounts. Great. Yeah.
No, I actually in the beginning there was quite a chase, and so we were friends at first. But I did slide up in the DMs, and
she came after me. It wasn't the other way around.
I was like, "Oh, he's attractive! Wow, voluntarious saving Snowden. That's so cool! Wow, you made a comic about that. You must really love liberty." So those were thoughts, and so yeah, I hit you up, and there was a long, romance period, friendship first. So I don't think it was like the Asian part. I think it was like. But the
benefits did accrue.
The stereotypical cherry on top, it's just fun. It's just like a point of connection. Like, okay, we're all libertarians, so we get certain jokes of shared experiences. If you're Asian, you make some stereotypical jokes of shared experiences, or if white people and you make stereotypical white jokes. Like, I don't know. I grew up around that. I mean, the comedians you listed, I didn't know one of the four, but George Carlin, Richard Pryor, and Eddie Murphy, they all made those stereotypical jokes. My favorite being Dave Chappelle. And he made like so many of all different races. And the point is actually like there are some people who are super triggered by it. And I think they confuse it wrongly for racism. When you're just making fun of stereotypes, it's not the same as perceiving someone to be inferior or superior to you. It's the original point of comedy, which was to like get you to laugh or like think about something that's a shared experience. So anyway, I just think it actually turns out to be more connecting than alienating or like racist as some people think. And I think those people are just confusing it and should just like, I'd love to just have a conversation with them. Like, okay, what are you triggered about? And specifically, what was the thing said and how did it make you feel? And what do you think? What memory from your childhood do you think of? It fascinates me. But yeah, so SJWs, they just need a little therapy.
A lot of therapy.
I'll leave with that. Just like you did.
Nice. I mean, I can see why the pursuit landed you your man. I could yeah. You're like, I want this dude.
She had a white fetish, basically. That's what happened.
Oh, you're gonna bring that up.
That's a funny thing too, right?
You're gonna
bring a lot of people joke about libertarian guys, they like Asian girls or whatever, like whatever. But meanwhile, straight up, all the Asian girls, like,
it's so true. In high school, we were we're the American firstborn generation American girls, and we're like, how do we get our eyes bigger? And then how do we like look more like the white girls? We see the white guys and the white girls. We're like the Mexican guys or the black guys, like like it was back then when I was growing up, like it wasn't the norm was like, okay, the American beauty. That was more the like stereotypical desire, you could say, of attractiveness at that time. Like the white girl with brunette, blonde hair, or red hair, like that was the thing I remember growing up. But it just started to change, I think, with the internet and anime. So, and then so like people's like subjective preferences of what they like to see or what they find attractive started to change. But yeah. So anyway, I just always find it fascinating.
It helps to be attractive, though. I think that helps, no matter where you're from.
Oh, so true.
The attractive people are always coming out on top. Like if you were unattractive, I could imagine Jack being like, "Ooh, sorry about that."
Well, that's actually I'm actually definitely more of a sapiosexual.
Well, vice versa. I mean,
I am definitely into intelligence, and I would say character and virtue first.
Really?
I mean, not being bad in the eyes helps.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely
thought
am.
everyone.
Did you make her do like a Rubik's Cube, like solve a Rubik's Cube in front of you, and you're like, "Oh my god, yeah."
Have you done that yet? If not, that's next. But no,
coding.
We did the math. Yeah, already did the math test, so we're good on that.
Like
but,
solving algorithms.
But yeah, it's
like a hangout flu.
I think that's definitely true of a lot of people who are in Liberty in the first place. From my experience, like definitely more interested in someone's intellect and their ability to hold a conversation and character, just because it's like, you know what I mean? Like if you're someone who's really into that, I mean, of course, there are people who just marry out at convenience or maybe before they got into it, whatever. But by and large, if you're already like, oh, I'm really into thinking about property rights, it's going to be really hard to just, be satisfied with some girl who doesn't, care one bit or one iota of like anything
she's like
about
the
philosophy
opposite,
or thinking.
Like she's a commie. Like that's so common. Have you like noticed that? Like libertarian guys dating commie girls. That should be a group.
I've never seen that.
Common.
When's that?
So, okay, socialist like SJW. I've seen that.
You've seen that?
Yeah.
You got to show me because that sounds like some great meme content. I have never seen that.
They want to change them. They want to change.
Want to change them? That's right.
It's a hot SJW. You know the crazy hot crazy.
And SJW,
like, I can redistribute him. Redistribute him. Yeah.
Yeah, they get confused. Like I'm libertarian.
Right. Well, who's
I hear what you're saying though. Like if you do want a relationship to work, it's gotta go way beyond physical. There's gotta be other qualities there that are
exactly. I think
that
the core
are gonna last. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think the core is like shared virtues. I mean, you could probably speak on that with your wife, and the cherry on top is that you're very attracted to her. So and vice versa.
Yeah.
I think
you're attracted to your wife, correct?
Correct.
Oh.
I put very. Very.
Very.
Woo.
Yeah. Well, you made a baby, so why else?
He's like, she got me that one time.
She looked good that one time. Damn.
Voted for Biden this year. I'm just kidding.
My goodness.
Okay, so
well, what does your wife think about the comedy and the sketch and stuff like that? Because obviously you've been doing this long enough that I would assume she knew about it. I mean, right? It's like,
yeah, she super supportive. She's a big cheerleader on my side. Looking for ways to motivate me, and sometimes you could be down in the dumps and all that, but she's a very positive force, which is something that I definitely need. And it's one of these things too where like you said, I've been doing this for a long time. Before we met, there was a whole body of work there, right, that she was exposed to. And at no point was it like, oh, I'm going to change him like that. It was, it was like, no, this is a big part of who he is, a big part of, I think, the attraction as well. And like, yeah, let's grow together rather than try to change one another.
That's so sweet. Congratulations on the companionship.
What'd she just make? That sounds delicious.
Yeah.
Can I get some? What's that?
What you just made, it sounds delicious. Breast milk. She pumped some breast milk.
I love breast milk.
And then put it into a jar and then put it into the fridge. So that's the sound you were hearing.
Wow.
Mother's milk.
What's that like? Like, do you get like a whole new set of experiences to draw for your comedy now? Are you like doing the baby comedy thing, or?
Oh yeah, there's a ton of material, and it's one of those things where it's like, oh, that's how it happens. You have this huge life-changing event, and you start looking at things in a different way. So I'm been putting together material about being a dad and doing that sort of thing. I'm only 7 months in, so there's only so much material I have. I could really fuck up this thing.
That's cool. Well, definitely let us know if you have a show in person next somewhere.
Absolutely.
No quarantine.
And with the baby, what have you been doing in terms of preparing yourself for fatherhood? Have you been like reading anything special, any books or anything that's like, getting you inspired? Or
there was a book that my wife made me read when she was pregnant to basically what was it, like husband boot camp or something like that?
Husband boot camp.
What's it? Diaper dude? Is that what it is? Dude to diaper dad or something.
Wait, what?
Something like that. So anyway, she wanted me to read this while she was pregnant, and I did read it, and there was actually like a lot of good information in it about, hey, this is the first month of her pregnancy. This is what to expect. This is what she might be going through. Hey, here's something you can do to help her along. But peppered in like every sentence was, dude, you're probably thinking right now, am I not going to be able to go out drinking with the boys? It's like, oh God, man, just give me the
correct.
Give me the bullet points, man. I don't need this guy to try to bond with me. And one thing that I am noticing though, when it comes to kids, is when you meet other parents and other kids. The parents treat the kids being together as if they're best friends already. And it's like, no, they can't walk. Like you put them next to each other. That's why they're even in the same vicinity. Like they don't have like anything real in common yet. Like they're babies. That's all they have. Quit trying to make these kids be best friends.
That's so that like, do you have those
Like, do
pictures
you
of
burp?
you
I
with your
burp.
cousins or any siblings?
Do I what? I'm sorry.
Like baby pictures of you as a baby with cousins or siblings.
I have. Oh, let me grab a picture of me as a baby.
Do it. Oh yes, we finally did it.
Some
This
people,
whole stream was made to actually get a picture.
Let's see.
So
So I have.
people having issues.
Here's
It's okay.
one.
I already messaged to everybody.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
See?
wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a little Lou.
Wow.
And then here's another one. Wait. Whoops. There we go.
Aw.
Here we go.
Nice.
So it's we haven't been sharing pictures of our son on social media, like at least not his face or anything like that.
Right.
But I mean, it's really weird looking at myself as a baby, and I'm like, we're basically twins. Like he's a blonde hair, blue eyed version of me. It's so weird.
Wow.
Yeah, he's insanely cute, much cuter than I was.
Did you get it from your wife then? The blue
Adorable.
eyes and the blonde?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were wondering, like, yeah, that's how that happened.
Okay. I was like, because if neither of you had that, I'd be like,
Well, there was some like Gattaca situation where sort of like all of my shit DNA was just
right.
carved out and thrown away, and then they took all her great stuff, and then it's like, okay, cool, here you go.
Oh man.
Aaron said you never lost your baby cheeks.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I'm so sweaty right now. I'm sorry. My hair's been going back. My hairline's fading.
I thought it was a good glisten.
Fading?
No worries.
That looks good. I think you got a strong complexion.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think it's very continental.
Very continental. What a way to explain it.
I was not.
Continental's very hot right now.
You know how you're
so-
on the field? That was like left field.
I mean, what's left? Everybody's already like cut their hair a million different ways. Shaved
True.
off their sides.
Shave the-
Girls don't have hair anymore. They're blue.
I heard somebody the other I think I was watching a documentary, and they said what people like is authenticity. So lean into that. Lean into authenticity. It's like that sounds a little inauthentic, right? If you're leaning into it.
I'm gonna force myself to be authentic.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, yeah. I mean, it's pretty crazy how much things have changed, and yet somehow things have stayed the same. So in terms of things changing versus staying the same, what do you hope to accomplish next in terms of your focus? What kind of either comedy or sketches or kind of projects? What are you looking to get your teeth sunk into?
Yeah, well, I'm really excited about building up the podcast. That's definitely there. And I've begun work on a new project, a bigger project that's going to see we'll be seeing in 2021, and it'll involve sketch comedy in some capacity as well as original writing and that sort of thing. So I'm excited. I'm excited about that. I'm excited to be working again.
Awesome.
And
Cool.
with that, is
Looking
that your
forward.
own, the sketch comedy project? Is that your own initiative? Or are you joining with some other force?
I'm looking to join with the dark side with
Ooh.
Hollywood?
The Republic.
whoever will have me.
Whoever will have you.
Whoever will have me, I'll join your team. Okay.
Oh my God.
Trump, would you do
I have a baby right now. I think I would have to do Trump just for the stories, right? I mean, what's going on right now for the next 3 months or so? What's going to be happening?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
want
that's
to be on the inside checking that out.
Right? Yeah.
That's true. If you do join it, you can get on the inside. Just be like, yes, I'm going to be your chief speech writer for the next month while you're still in. And you're going to make him funny again.
Oh yeah, and convert them in cat with your comedy.
Mm.
Oh my goodness. Well, no matter what, I mean, I imagine you're not planning on selling out, or do you have a price?
Do I plan on selling out? Yeah, I mean, I think I have a price. Yeah, and anybody wants to DM me to find out what that price is.
You're like,
You're
I'll
like,
focus on
all right,
liberty,
that's
but you
it.
give me two.
He's going to write about comedy shorts about how great it is to wear a mask, how much you should love being locked inside New York, stay inside.
Well, one of the tough things about spending the last 5 years or so doing political satire is it's like, man, did I paint myself into a box? Because it's so much of the kind of storytelling that I want to do. It's not political.
Right.
So much of what I do in stand up isn't political. It's telling stories and talking about my life. And I don't know. It's worrying a little bit. The idea that if someone didn't dig my burglars for gun control video, that somehow that will keep me out of going into some other artistic ventures or something like that, or collaborations. It's like, I hope that's not the case.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but it is.
It is the case. That's it. It's just reality.
So now that you know the facts,
it's a double
we
standard,
can focus
but
on the next project for Liberty.
Yeah, not in every avenue, but it is true. Some corporate media will blackball based on certain political ideas. They have a political bias, so they'll allow political satire like SNL, whatever, but it has to meet their narrative. And if it doesn't, you'll
have to do at least one child sacrifice, I think, to get back in.
It'll have to be the second one because this first one is too cute. And this one is too cute.
That's what I hear it takes. Either that or at least a good hour on your knees. Either one will get you back in.
I have an idea. If you're in New York and speakeasies aren't an option. That's the term, right? Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's like a gay bar.
Oh, I meant
except you have to knock on a door.
Oh, it's not a gay bar? Well, I didn't mean
it. Could be. I'm sure there are.
I guess that'd be cool to do. Say, you go, Lou. It'd actually be the most talk about feedback. You
would get some great tips. Feedback, I'm just saying.
One of my favorite places to perform was this gay bar in West Hollywood called Foo Bar. And
I know
they had go-go dancers and stuff, and the audience was great. They were hilarious. They were great.
That's so cool. Well, I was thinking there's, I don't know if you've ever looked into VR, but I can totally see you doing stand-up in VR in a VR world. It's just open world and it's massive multiplayer. So you can go to any world, you can join any bridge, you can have private sessions too. You can have let me do a private instance of a world and only, invite people,
It sounds like a joke, but actually that is an option. That really is. Yeah. It is an option.
And we have a volunteers world.
Paris Hilton did it. I mean,
you have your volunteers.
Did she do DJing in VR?
She's done where it's private ticketed events for virtual reality though. And you put on, whatever your Oculus or your Quest or whatever, and you go to the virtual event and she's really DJing, but it's just virtual world. And that is a real
Paris Hilton does that too, if I'm not mistaken.
Wait, didn't I just say Paris Hilton?
Oh, I thought you said Lady Gaga.
I'm like, what?
I don't know how I heard Lady
Bradley
Gaga.
Cooper. What about Bradley Cooper? Does he do it?
Alex Jones, it's random. Okay.
Oh, Alex Jones in VR. That would be an experience.
I would pay for that.
He goes around, he's like,
I would pay for that.
The globalists, they're coming.
Because your avatar could be anything, right? You could make yourself like a frog,
You can. They have a bunch of custom.
The black Womenex, whatever that is, that they were looking for in that comedy sketch.
You could change character literally in VR world. You're like, okay, time to do.
Just take a VR profile picture and be like, proof.
So anyway, idea for you. If you do it, let me know. That'd be cool.
Yeah, if you guys want to set that up, let's get to work on that.
I'd be down.
That'd be cool.
That'd be a lot of fun.
I'm sure they have the.
But I mean, seriously, we actually saw. Have you heard of JP Sears?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So obviously he does comedy as well, stand up and stuff, sit down as well. But he did a show, and we went and saw it live, and it was great. You could eat, you could drink. Nobody was masked up and stuff like that. There's definitely venues out there that you could utilize that are what you said, that very romantic, intimate 200 was like that. It was like a 200, it was a food and small stage thing. It's kind of weird actually how you described it. That's literally where like JP actually just did his bit.
And some people had masks.
We did. We
and
got
some
VIP
didn't.
tickets to go see him up front, right there in front of him. I mean, I would get VIP tickets
It was
to
very
see you there
lax.
too.
It was very lax.
I just know his stuff from the videos that he does as that character. Does he? Is that what his stand up is too? Is like the same character, or
he does a lot of similar stuff to his comedy, the sketch comedy
His
does.
stand-up's a little different though. It's unique. It is kind of like the difference you described. Like he's more talking about his life, and he doesn't have like he does go into other characters, but there's no cuts. It's just a different dynamic.
every character he does is completely ripped too. Just like an amazing shit.
Yeah. Oh, of course. And he was. I touched him. I know.
Oh,
so
what, ripped?
Yeah, he's definitely.
He's huge in person. That's the other thing.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's not like tall, but he has muscle.
He's like, well,
you're taller than
me,
him, just for
like,
reference.
Thank you for correcting your wife. Thank you.
Someone's got to keep the record straight here. That's my job. I'm here to fact check. That's all. But yeah, I think that would be absolutely fantastic. There are definitely venues to look at, and I would say personally, like, check out the circuit JP did, because obviously JP chose venues that were not freaking out about the shutdowns and the masks and stuff like that. He intentionally chose places that were comedy clubs that were open, and he had an opening act, and also the local comedy venues, their comedian, whatever their MC, but he does a little bit. So it was a full set of the whole way. So
nice.
Definitely something to think about, because New York obviously has its limitations.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Oh, well, actually, how is that? Is it just concentrated in New York City, or is it like the whole state? Or how?
I'm not sure what the rules are outside of the city, but I know there was a lot of tension between our governor and our mayor as far as what rules were going to be applied and all that. And I think that's a thing too, where just a lot of the rules just don't make much sense. Like, for example, I think one of the rules is like restaurants can be at like 25% capacity, which is already just it's already hard enough. But if they build an outdoor area, they could fill that up, and then they can enclose that area.
Right.
So it's like you're basically making another inside.
It's inside, but outside. Yeah.
No, it's the inside, guys.
I thought that was nuts. That's nuts. I mean, I personally think that like your workaround could just be that you dress up as a Hasidic Jew and then have a bar mitzvah in the street, but then turn into a comedy show. I think that is probably your best bet.
Not for our mayor, man. He was coming down on them big time.
He did. Yeah. He did a bit.
Yeah, the Chabad community was.
But you can hide in the crowd. That's the key.
Well, speaking
if shit goes down.
Yeah, I said the poor Chabad community thought dressing like Antifa would protect them from the mayor, but it did not.
Well, they didn't cut the curls. That's why. It's obvious, I mean, if you got a mask, but there's still, curls coming out.
Or at least dye them. Dye the curls.
Right. Dye them, right.
Purple.
Pink or purple.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. You could have had a side job consulting the Hasidic Jews on how to best disguise themselves. I mean, look at this. Opportunities are endless.
Man, you're a breath of fresh air in this status world. Someone's like, oh, cool. This guy's super funny.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any questions does anybody have questions from the audience?
Let's see.
I'll throw a if you have questions here.
So I really like, I did my first stream over StreamYard the other day, and the whole platform's awesome. Just how you're able to bring comments up and all that. It's great.
Yeah, no, definitely. The only apparent they heard that his YouTube heard we were gonna do this.
Uh-oh. Just froze. Oh, that's not me. Froze. Yeah. Oh no, they just froze. I'm going to text them just to. In the show. I'm not in the show. I don't know if you guys are still watching me, but it looks like Jack and Fa are not in here. I don't know if they got kicked out. There I was talking about how great StreamYard is, and then it looks like they got kicked off. But meanwhile, their guest is still in here. So hopefully they're able to get back on. David says, it's your show now, Lou. That's right. It's my show. Well, until they get back, I just want to sing some praises for them. They're really kind to invite me on and to share me with their very large audience. So I really appreciate that. So until they come back on, if there's any questions that you guys have, I would love to answer them. Let's see. Shaylin Witchcraft asks, Lou, I never heard of you, sorry, but do you have anything I can look up? Yeah, if you go to my website, thelouperez.com, there are links to a number of my projects over there. So, guys, I was manning the ship while you.
There you go. That was perfect. So that was kind of crazy, but we got hit by some of this storm, and it literally blacked out. We have generator stuff and backups, but
oh wow,
we heard that YouTube server side actually was down on a lot of things because I guess one of their server centers was hit by the storm too. And that had happened earlier, but we just got our first actual storm related event. So,
oh man,
yeah, that's crazy.
Do you, are you guys protected? Do you need to, that's good. Yeah. Just fire at the storm.
We're going to just shoot it.
Just put one in the head, two in the chest, in the eye of the storm.
Exactly. That's how we do it. I mean, that's how we do it down here. It's just how it goes. All right. So everything is still at least up. Although I think some people probably lost power too, but we can see here that there's questions. So someone had asked, what's your newest project? And I don't know if that was technically answered or not.
Yeah, if you check out the Lou Perez podcast over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, I'm on basically all of the platforms. It's my chance to talk to people that I've been a big fan of. So I kind of made an excuse to kind of trick them to talk to me for an hour at a time. A few episodes I think you guys would dig. I got to talk with Phil Labonte, who's the lead singer of All That Remains. Really great guy. He's up in New Hampshire, big Liberty guy. That was cool. And then I got to talk with a legal analyst and defense attorney named Danny Savalos. And one of the segments we did was we talked about what would happen if Gotham ever found out that Bruce Wayne is actually Batman. What kind of lawsuits is he looking at? So we did about 20 minutes to a half hour talking about that specifically. So if you guys head over there, give them a listen.
Awesome. I'm going to put that up here down as you could say a banner. Cool. So it's the website again is
LouPerez.com.
Perez.kim. All right. I'm going to throw that down below so people can see. There it is. The LouPerez.com. All right. So yes, Aaron said here that has some potential. So they're excited for your podcast. So that's awesome.
And you guys were talking about, your own trials and tribulations getting kicked off of Facebook and all that. So I'm on locals.com now too. So if any, I know a lot of people are looking to go to Parler, looking to go to Minds and all that. Locals.com is a cool community because basically you're not going to be put in Facebook jail. You're not going to be You're not going to have your account suspended like Twitter. And it's a way to, talk directly to the creators that you support. So I'm the Lou Perez community on locals.com.
Yeah, I always wondered what that was about because I'm not familiar with Locals. And at first, I'm like, is this some
it
dating app? Like, is it
Malice.
like you sign up, you try to date Lou or something? I was like, what is it?
I heard it was Michael
I'm like,
Malice
okay,
and-
sure.
Yeah.
But
that makes sense.
what is it like? Is it like Patreon or something? Is it like what could you compare it to?
Yeah, I think Patreon is a good way to compare it. But what happens on Patreon is ultimately, the creator is posting everything. Whereas the Locals community, it's like if you're part of a community, you get to post on the wall, you get to comment, you get to
Cool.
do all that stuff, and it's a way to keep people who are just going to come on just to troll. It's like, well, if you want to comment, you have to be a contributor,
Right.
So it's a good way to I think sort of grow a community of like-minded people who are interested in actually having conversations with each other.
I love that.
Gotcha. So it's like only
so
supporters can support or can talk within the channel kind of thing.
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Can you invite people who aren't directly funding you on that platform? Like,
oh yeah, that they can come and check out your stuff. They can like your post. But of course, there's some posts that are for supporters only. So
Right.
I'll release like early versions of my podcast or videos or that sort of thing.
Do you have an OnlyFans yet?
I'm working. I got to work on it, dude. I got to work. I got to get abs back. And once I get my abs back, I'm doing my OnlyFans. That's it.
I looked through your pictures. I
jokes
creeped.
about
I went back, way back. You used to like work out all the time and stuff and like take, those hot, sexy body pictures. Like, so tell me about that. Like what, like has working out also been a thing? Or is that just for the comedy? I mean, what is it?
No, I've always been into working out. But yeah, this past year has just been, I've been very lazy and just lacking in motivation. But it's one of those things, anyone who works out a lot, if they get away from it for a while and they're like, oh, I got to go work out. The minute they go and work out again, they're like, this is why I like it. I feel great doing this. Although I'm not in, JB Spears definitely is on another level of being funny and also being built like being
like
Diesel.
A diesel. There you go.
Right.
That-
So is he your comedian body model then? Like he's your body inspiration for comedy?
Is he? I don't know. I'm not sure.
I always thought you looked like George Carlin. That's random. But related.
Hey, all right.
Yes.
And more coherent and even
Hot George Carlin. That's what I'm going for.
And a little more healed.
that
like a little
literally
more
is
healed.
like liquid panty remover right
You
there.
like healed.
Garland.
Ooh, that'd be like a new show. You know how people love.
But that's going to
George
be a new
Carlin?
skit now, right? Hot George Carlin. It's like you just
Yeah.
gray, you salt and pepper, and then you're like in the gym and you
Yeah.
you
And if
reincarnate
he was
him as a
here
joke.
now in 2020, and he was like hot George Carlin in shape.
You're like, I'm back.
He's like, why do they call them selfies? What?
It's
Oh,
like,
that's
the
really
government
good.
sucks, right?
Yeah. That's
They're just raping you.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay, so speaking of moving away from, if you were just, obviously doing all the political stuff, this or that, if you were to move away and go to a different direction, what's the genre that you really are passionate about? Because, there's, of course, many different types of genres. Could be, horror, suspense, thriller, romance. Like, what is it that, gets your comedic boner up?
Let's see. What gets the comedic boner up? My partner Greg and I were actually working on a series that would be sort of like a dark comedy narrative that we're looking to do. That's something I would be really excited about. Sort of like telling a story in 10 episodes. Package that story in 10 episodes and then move on to the next thing. So
so cool.
Is that something
should
that
make
you want
cartoons.
to submit to a service, like in terms like putting on Netflix or Amazon Prime? Like, is that
Oh,
kind of-
sure. Yeah.
Oh.
I would, love to, be able to sell a project like that. That would be great.
Oh, that's awesome. Are you doing any types of outreach now in terms of going and shaking hands and talking to people, trying to see if there's anybody interested producer wise?
Nobody's shaking my hand. It's so not under these circumstances. Yeah, I mean, one of the one of the cool things about having produced all this content for so long is being able to reach out to people who have wanted to collaborate, and it's like, well, now we have the time to work together in some capacity. So yeah, I'm definitely willing and able.
What do you look for besides willing and able in a collaborator? I mean, this might be a little bit of a personal question, but what do you look for in a willing and able collaborator for whatever it is, a skit or a short or whatever? What do you look for?
Oh, I think talent is good, but and also somebody too that has a goal in mind. It's always good when you're talking to somebody and you're like, well, what do you want to do? Some people are like, well, I want to do a live show and have it. I want to do a week of performances in the theater. It's like, okay, that's your goal. Or I want to, make this, 5-minute video and share it with, my countless fans. So as long as there's yeah.
So you like it when someone that you're going to collaborate with is specific in the outcome. They're able to detail with you with concrete numbers or descriptive end results, and also the effect. Like that's what gets you like, oh, okay, I'm interested in what you have to say.
Or the network.
Yeah, I think that's good. It's just it's a way to show that you're serious about what you're doing. So.
Right.
Oh, that's awesome.
Would you agree with the idea that there's lots of people with ideas, but very few people who execute?
Oh yeah, man. I used to get a lot of messages on like Facebook and Twitter, like, "Hey man, if you ever need any ideas, I got a lot of them."
True.
And it's like, no, man, I don't need any more ideas. Right. Can you actually take an idea and make something out of it? If you could do that, then yeah, I need more of that for sure.
Right. Lots of people slide out. They're like, oh, I have this, great idea for a new project, or, oh, if you need any help anytime, shooting or something, this or that. But it's very few people, I would say, have the actual ability and capacity and long-term orientation to, do the production and bring something to finish, that's substantial. And that's something I try to encourage people too, is that if you ever are serious about, doing anything in that realm of the creative realm, lots of people have ideas. Like literally, any Joe Schmo has an idea, and they may even be great, have the ability to sit there and work day in, day out and get it done and actually work toward that end and finish it and release it. Mm-hmm. Lots of people are like, oh, I have an idea, and then they just never do anything with it.
Yeah. No, that's definitely the bane of a lot of creators or would-be creators' existence. Yeah.
What do you say helps you stay organized so that you accomplish your goals?
I think deadlines are really important. Deadlines are really important to make to get me to make sure I get done what needs to get done. Because there are a lot of times when I could just be lying down staring at the ceiling, and that would be a productive day.
Do you perchance use anything in particular for yourself? Like, do you jot things down in a notebook? Do you put them in Google Calendar or something like that? Like, what is your way of reminding yourself what you want to do? Yeah, there are a lot. My phone is full of a lot of notes that I'm never gonna see. So taking down a lot of notes and forget about them. For the really important ones that I want to move on, I make an event in my calendar. And sometimes it's a repeating event that repeats every day. So it's a constant reminder, you need to get this thing, written. So. Well, that's awesome. That's really helpful. I mean, some people today are right now like, okay, got to go put this in my calendar. Lou said to Gotta do that. You're helping people.
Hot George Carlin just said.
Yeah.
That would be a cool. Like, what if you went to the venue that we saw JB Sears at, and then you're like, "It's Hot George Carlin with Lou Perez."
Oh my
God. I'd be there.
Does anybody own his rights to his name or anything? I don't know. That'd be the one issue. It's like I wouldn't want Lou to get
I
sued.
didn't know you can own rights to it to use someone's name.
There are potential rights issues for like branding and stuff. I mean, if it's a parody of him,
Government.
it's a little different. But how often do you find yourself having to deal with like lawyers and legal issues in your work?
Ooh.
Thankfully, not often. I guess anytime if there's a contract involved, then yeah. But fortunately, I haven't had to deal with any litigation or anything like that.
Do you read your contracts?
Yeah. I try to read them, and it's important to have a professional read them. So.
Yeah.
Do you get a professional to read them?
Oh yeah, when I can, yeah.
So there's times you didn't.
Well, there were times in the past that, making silly, silly choices, or but now I would totally recommend, if there is paperwork, you should have an eye, eyes of a professional look it over.
Did you ever have something that that didn't work out on, like just reading an agreement or something like that you like didn't pay attention to, and they're like, now we own this forever or something like that? Like maybe you made something or other.
Nothing. I think there might have been like some festivals or something like that, or something.
What was that?
I think guys. I think actually I might have to wrap up.
Okay.
Now.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. It's been a little over an hour. It's 1:01, and
I'm so sorry. I have I'm a little older, and I got a baby, and this is really late for me. 9 o'clock. You guys are insane. You guys are party animals right now. 9 p.m. What?
You're right.
Well, thank you so much. And I really appreciate you
pleasure.
going above and beyond, answering all the different types of crazy questions we have, and just staying late with us. And just
Thanks for
again,
your
one
jokes.
last wrap here. If people want to find what you're doing, definitely see the LouPerez.com. It's down below. Is there anything else that people should check out or subscribe to?
Yeah, the LouPerez.locals.com. So if you can find the Lou Perez on locals.com, that would be awesome. You guys can make an account, follow me. That'd be really, really sweet.
Cool.
Perfect. All right, we pumped it out there, so everybody knows now. Everything's good.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Lou.
Thank you guys so much.
Your baby.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye.